Hi everybody, so this is part 2 of 2 videos that I have for the Fox Up. So this is what they are going to look like by the time that we're done, and I do hope you enjoy, and if you have any questions or you need any help, leave me a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. Round 1 of the legs, I'm going to show you to do one, and then you're going to pause the video and make another one. I'm going to do 2 rows of black and then 2 rows of orange. So pick the colors that you'd like to use. I'm going to start off with 9 single crochets in our magic ring. So using the bottom part of our loom, we're going to take a single band and wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to pull 9 bands through, one at a time. Go in. Bring your first band through as if you're doing a slip knot on your hook and bring your loop over. Don't pull too hard. Bring it to the side and go back in for your second band. Bring through. Put the end on your hook and you'll have 3 loops. You want to bring your 2 loops over and bring it to the side. Each time you bring a band through, always move it around so that the bands don't go like on top. Bring your next band through on your hook and bring your 2 loops over. And then you can just continue with 2 loops over. And continue. And one more. I'm going to attach my C-clip to the band that's around my hook and remove off the loom. I'm going to make sure that all my bands are nice and neat, and you should have 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is on your hook. This little hole in the center, because I used the loom, I'm just going to kind of get rid of it by closing it. So I'm going to turn it around and kind of squish the hole closed. And then eventually it will just close on its own. For rounds 2, 3, and 4 of the leg, we're going to do 9 single crochets. So adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. At the end of each round, you should have 9 stitches. Our last band, we're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to go on my first chain, and I'm going with the black again, and just bringing 1 band through. And moving on to the next. And just keep going around until you get to the stitch marker. And the last. I'm going to remove my stitch marker and start round 3. I am changing color, so I am going to start off with a slip stitch, the same way we do a slip knot. So I'm not going where it's being pulled. I'm going to bring my first band through, all of the loops that are on my hook, grabbing the end and slowly sliding through, not pulling. And you're going to continue going around with 1 band in each chain until you get to the stitch marker. I'm going to remove, add to my band, and I'm going to continue. Just don't go in the little slip knot, you're going in your chain and adding one band to each chain around. And this is our last round. So don't forget to do the slip knot at the end. And our last band, I'm going to bring through all of the loops that are on my hook, grabbing the end and sliding. I'm going to remove the stitch marker, and this is what you should have. So please pause the video and make yourself another. Round one of the arms, I'm going to do one with you, and then you're going to pause the video and make another one. At this point, you should have 2 legs already. To start off the arm, I'm going to use black, and we're going to do 7 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to take a single band, and I'm going to wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to pull 7 bands through, one at a time. Your first one, bring your loop over, just as we did before, and go back in. Grab your second band and bring through on your hook, and you're going to bring the 2 loops over. Bring it to the side, and just the same thing. Bring it through on your hook and 2 loops over. And you can continue. Back in. Use your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook and remove off the loom. You should have 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is on your hook. I'm going to close that hole in the back. And we're going to start round 2. For rounds 2, 3, and 4, we're just going to do 7 single crochets. So I'm going to do another row of black and 2 rows of orange. Our last band, a slip knot to tie it closed. So go in your first chain, and you're going to bring 1 band through and side. So just continue adding 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 band all the way around. And the last one. Remove your stitch marker. It's so small that you really don't, especially if you're counting. And we're going to change color, so I'm going to start off with a slip stitch. Going in my first chain, I'm going to bring my band through all of the loops, grab the end, and slide. And now just continue around with 1 band in each chain. Remove your stitch marker and just continue again, going in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled and not your little slip knot, and just continue 1 band in each chain. The last band, remember to do a slip knot. Last band, bring through all of your loops, grab your end, and tie it off. So please pause the video and make yourself another. We're going to add some sewing bands now, and I'm going to do the legs first. So the ones that are bigger, these are the arms. I'm going to add one sewing band now. So bringing my slip knot to the bottom, I'm going to fold it in half so that the stitches are nice and even. You have one stitch at the top that's going sideways. I'm going to go through that and bring one band through and do a slip knot. Again, slip knot at the bottom for the leg, put the stitches even, and the stitch right at the top, do a slip knot with a single band. Now for the arms, we're going to use 2 bands for each arm. I'm going to put the slip knot to the side, and I'm going to grab the 2 chains that are in the middle on both sides. So I didn't go beside the slip knot, I went in the center, and I'm going to bring a band through and do a slip knot. And I'm going to do the same thing on the end, so we're even with this one. And I didn't grab both of the chains there. There we go. And I'm going to tie it right to the end. Same thing. I'm going to bring my slip knot to the side, put my stitches even, and I'm going to grab the center chains. Let's see if I did that. Make sure your stitches are even. Mine weren't. So I'm not going right beside the slip knot. I'm going right in the center. And I'm going to bring a band through and do a slip knot. And right at the ends. I'm going to stuff the head now. So just grabbing some stuffing. The head is wider more than it is longer, so we want to make sure that we fill it sideways and get everywhere in between. So I've added some stuffing, and I think I have just a little bit too much, so I'm just going to roll, and whatever is coming out, then I know that I have too much. So that's what I'm going to just remove. We don't want it hard, so we want to make sure that we take some out. And we don't want his head long, so we're just going to squish it down and make sure that it's all filled out. If you're seeing too much coming through the bands, you know you have too much. I'm going to push the eyes back in, and I think that's okay. And now to add some to the body. We don't want the bottom part looking like this. It's a flat base, so we want to make sure that we stay with making sure it's flat. So I'm just going to roll this and remove what's coming out. And that should be okay. Now we're going to sew on the head, and we're going to use 15 bands. I'm going to grab the stitch on the back of the body right beside the slip knot, and the stitch on the back of the head right beside the slip knot. So body first and then head. I'm going to bring one band through all of the loops that are on my hook, grab the end, and slide. Moving on to the next chain on the body, the next chain on the head. I'm going to bring a band through, just both of the chains, the head, the body, on my hook, and slide. And just moving on, body first, then the head, band through the head, through the body, grab the end and slide. Moving on, next chain, and slide. The next chain, and just continue all the way around till you get to that slip knot that you have in the back. Body, head, oh, sorry about my dog. Lucky. Lucky. There must be somebody walking outside. Or he barks at the birds. And I have one more that I'm going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So the body, the stitch on the head, I'm going to move this previous slip knot that we have. I only cut one loop on the head. Give me a second. And bring your band, your last band, through all of the loops that are on your hook. Grab the end and slide. And squish him down, his head down. And this is what he looks like so far. We're going to attach the belly part now to the front. So we're going to sew around. I'm going to start off using a guiding band to help me. So I'm going to find the center. And I'm going to maybe put it right here. And I'm going to do a slip knot. Now I'm going to take one of my slip knots and I'm going to start to sew. I'm going to sew this part upside down because I find if I sew this way, my orange bands are going to show through. So I'm going to go right above my little guiding band. I'm going to go through the stitches on the body, grab my little slip knot and bring it through. You want to make sure that the belly part stays in place by holding it down so it doesn't end up going off to the side. So all you're going to do is go to the stitch right beside, grab your band, bring it through and slide. Moving on to the next stitch, right beside it, grab your band and slide through. And you're going to do this all the way around. And we're going to use a band to do a slip knot to tie it closed. But before you do that, make sure that the belly is in the center. It's very easy for it to move. And you can see that I'm not like this, so my band is going to show. I'm just kind of like covering the orange. So just going around. I'm just going to untwist my band right there. And now going all the way around. Wherever you see the slip knot, that's where you're going to start to pull it through. making sure that when you get to the top part, you're at the kind of like you're still in the center. Try not to grab the stuffing, just take your time. Try not to drop your stitches. See, my orange is sewing, so I'm going to try to bring this band through a stitch closer to the actual belly part. Let me just grab my stitches again. I'm using a jelly band. These are very slippery. So I'm just going to grab something closer to the actual belly and making sure that my white stitch is close as possible to the belly so that the orange doesn't show through. And I'm going to go through, I run out of bands, so I'm going to go through the last stitch here that I have on the belly. I'm going to go through the, on the body, and I'm going to go through the last stitch on the belly. I'm going to bring a band through all of my loops, and I'm going to do a slip knot. I kind of just want to untwist this band here. So I'm going to bring it through, grab the other end, and tie off. And I'm going to go through somewhere on the belly here, coming out right beside the slip knot, and I'm going to hide the slip knot. And next we're going to sew on the legs. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing the legs and not the arms. So these ones that are closed, those are the arms, and the ones that are open are the legs. So we're going to sew these on now. To get the leg on, we are going to count 4 stitches over. I'm going to start right where my guiding band is. So this would be 1. So just the bottom base band. 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go through that single band right at the bottom. And I'm going to bring one of my slip knots through. To sew on this side, I'm going to use 3 bands, and to sew on this side, I'm going to use 3 bands. So go through the stitch that's right beside it at the bottom base and grab the next stitch over on the leg. So the one beside your little slip knot. And bring a band through your chain and your 2 chains. So the one on the leg and the one on the body. Put the other end on your hook and side. Now I'm going to go through the next chain on the leg. I'm going to put it flat, my hook here and the leg. And where your hook is, that's basically the chain you're going to grab. So I'm right above my bottom base. So I'm just at the stitch right above. And I'm going to bring my second band through. The body, the leg on your hook and side. I have one more chain here before I get to my top slip knot. So with my hook, I'm going to go through the leg, put it flat, and you're just grabbing the chain right above where you sewed. So this is where you sewed previously. Now you're grabbing the next above. And bring my band through the chain on the body, the chain on the leg, and on your hook and side. Now I'm at my slip knot, so I want to bring this through a chain on the body. So right above where you sewed, I'm going to bring my chain through my slip knot, through my other, and I'm going to sew on the other side using 3 bands. So you should have 3 stitches. Find your stitches. Don't count where your slip knot is. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go through the chain on the leg, put it flat, and that's where you want to grab. So I'm going to grab right in here, bring my band through the body, the leg, on my hook and slide. The next chain on the leg, put it flat, grab your band, bring it through the body, the leg, on your hook and slide. Your last chain. Now I'm not going to stretch it out. I'm going to kind of put it flat, the tip of my hook, and that's where I want to grab. I'm going to bring this band through all of the loops that are on my hook to do a slip knot and tie it off. I'm going to go through the leg and hide the slip knot. And we'll get the other leg on. I'm going to sew on the other leg now. And I'm going to use one of the slip knots. So I'm going to count 4 stitches over, but starting where my guiding band is. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to put my hook through, grab one of the slip knots, it doesn't matter which one, and bring it through. You're going to go this chain right beside it towards the guiding band and grab a chain on the leg. So I'm not going where my slip knot is, the chain above, and I'm going to bring a single band through the chain on the leg, the chain on the body, grab the end and slide. Go through the next chain on the leg. You want to put it flat where the tip of your hook is, make sure it's straight down, and grab the stitch. So I'm right above and bring a band through that chain on the body, the leg, and on your hook and side. You have one more chain on this side. You're going to do the same thing, put it straight and put it flat. And bring a band through. Your chains on your hook and side. Now you're going to bring your slip knot through, so I have to go through the body, bring it through, and side. So now we're going to do the other side with 3 bands again. And find your 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. So I'm not going where my slip knot is. I'm going to go through the chain on the leg, put it flat, straight down your hook, and grab the stitch. Grab the band, bring it through the stitches on the body and the leg, and grab the end and slide. Next stitch on the leg, put your hook flat, straight down, grab the end, your chain on the body, your band, bring it through and slide. Last band with a slip knot. Go through your chain on the leg, put your hook straight so I'm not out, and grab your band, bring it through all of the loops, grab your end and tie it off. Bring your band and hide it, and the legs are on. If you want, remove this little guiding band, we no longer need it. And we're going to sew on the arms next. I'm going to sew this side first with the arms. So I want to make sure that I find a good placement, and I'm going to sew it on an angle. For each of the arms, you're going to use a single band to do a slip knot. So I'm going on an angle. I'm just going to bring my slip knots through 3 of the chains on the body. So I'm going to have to go through the body, bring my band through, go through a stitch above, bring my band through, and slide. And a stitch above that, bring my band through. Before you do a slip knot, check the placement to make sure that it's an okay placement for you, wherever you'd like it. And I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to catch the band that we did a slip knot on the arm and tie it off. So just bringing it through, grab the end, and slide. Again, I'm just going to make sure that the placement is okay, and I'm okay with that. The next arm, we're going to do the same thing, except we want to make sure that we're even with this side too as well. And again, I'm going to sew it on an angle. I'm going to start at the top because I'm right-handed. I'm going to go right here, bring my band through, bring my band through at the chain below, and the chain below that. And I'm going to check just to make sure I like where I put it, and that's okay. Turning it around, I'm going to grab the slip knot that we have attached to the arm, bring my band through those loops that are on my hook, and do a slip knot. Grab the end and tie off. Just checking one more time. I'm going to hide the slip knots that are on the arm, and then you can hide the slip knots in the back of the neck too as well. And then you could do these ones. Round one of the tail, I'm going to directly sew this tail right onto the body. So I'm going to use 7 bands. The first 3 bands are going to be right on the little loop here at the bottom base, so catching 3 of these stitches. We want to make sure that our 3 stitches are in the center. So I'm going to go about here. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to sew towards the right. I'm going to bring my band through on my hook and slide. Catching the stitch right beside that, you're going to bring your second band through that chain and put the other end on your hook and slide. And one more. Now I'm going to catch 4 stitches on top. So the chains on the body, I'm going to catch 1, 2, 3, and 4. So going through the chain right above, bringing my band through on my hook and slide. 1 over, 1 over, and 1 more. Now you want to use a stitch marker and attach it to the band that's around your hook, and you should have 7 stitches because you used 7 bands. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is on your hook. For rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the tail, you're just doing 7 single crochets around. I'm going to do round 2 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to complete the rounds and come back to me when you're done. So each of my piles has 7 bands, so at the end of these rounds you should have 7 stitches. The first round, make sure you don't go through your little slip knot. You want to go through your first chain. Bring your band through your chain on your hook and slide, and just go around until you get to the stitch marker. And the last one. You should have 7 stitches again. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, pause the video, and come back to me when you're done. Round 6 of the tail, we're going to increase on this round. So at the end of this round, you will have 10 stitches. The pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. I'm going to start off with my white color. So I'm changing color for this round, so I'm going to do a slip stitch. So I'm going to go in my first chain, and I'm going to pull my band through all of the loops, grabbing the end and sliding. Moving on to the next chain, I'm going to add 2 bands, one at a time, on my hook and slide. Go back in that same chain, adding your second band, and you're just going to continue the pattern until you hit the stitch marker. So 1 band in the next, and then 2 bands in the next. Back in. And then 1 band in the next. And then your 2. So you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 7, 8, and 9, we're just going to do 10 single crochets. So adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I'm going to do round 7 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to do rounds 8 and 9. So you want to go in your first chain. Don't go where your little slip knot is. Your first chain, and add 1 rubber band, and then just go around with 1 band in each chain until you hit the stitch marker. You can remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, and pause the video and come back to me when you're done the other 2 rounds. For round 10 of the tail, our last round, we're going to close this off. I'm going to use 5 rubber bands. So the pattern is going to be 1 and 2 and stitch together. 1 and 2, stitch together. 1 and 2. You're just going to do this 5 times. Your last band, you're going to close it off with a slip knot. So take chains 1 and 2 and stitch together. Again, 1 and 2. You're just doing this until you have 0 stitches. And stitch together. Again, 1 and 2. One and 2. And my last one, I'm going to take 1 and 2, and I'm going to bring this through all of the loops and do a slip knot and tie it closed. You can remove your stitch marker, and I'm going to hide my slip knot. So I'm just going to go in, grab the little slip knot, and bring it through. Now you're going to take an orange rubber band or your body color, and we're just going to secure the tail so it stays up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go somewhere in the center here of the body, and I'm going to grab a stitch on the tail and bring a band through just to secure it and do a slip knot. Grabbing the other end and tying it off. And I'm going to go through the body and hide the slip knot. Now I am going to make a little bow tie, so we're going to stick this on here. If you know how to do this, you can skip. If you don't, then I'm going to show you how to do that. But first, the little flower you can find on my channel. It's called the wildflower, and I show you how to make these. And if you wanted to add these to him, all I'm going to do is, you can check out that video, but I'm just going to go through the arm and pull it through and bring it through. And now I'm going to show you how to do the little bow. So to do the little bow, I'm going to use 3 rubber bands. I'm going to take 2 now, and I'm going to use 2 of the pegs. And I'm just going to basically put double bands on my peg. And with your hook, I'm going to go underneath it, underneath the bands, grab my black band and bring it through on top here, and we're going to grab the other end and we're going to do a little slip knot. So I'm just going to grab the loop that I have in the back here of my hook and bring it over the loop that's at the tip. I'm not going to pull too hard here. I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to remove the ends off the loom. And now I'm just going to fix up the loops. Sometimes they like to twist. This is the best time to fix them. And then you can just give it a little tug. Now I'm going to go through the neck part here. So it's up to you where you want to actually place it. I placed this one on the actual body, the chain. So I was about here. You can go here if you like, but I think I'm just going to grab these chains right here. And I'm going to grab the little slip knot at the end and bring it through. And I'm going to go over, stretch it over the bow. And then I'm going to twist this elastic and bring it back over. So I'm just twisting just because you need, you want it a little bit tighter. So I'm twisting and bring it back over the loop. And he's done. I do hope you enjoyed Looming with Cheryl. Please subscribe down below. I have a lot more designs to load, and I will see you next time with another. Bye for now.